M0FXB, welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. So just a quickie, what is a code plug? We hear this term all the time. Code plug, what is a code plug? So really, for me, code plug first came about when people started talking about DMR radios. So a DMR radio has to be programmed from your computer first. Now you can buy DMR radios now. They've made them easier to program from the radio, like the Anytone 878. So I wouldn't say it's as essential as it was. You can get the thing up and running just programming into the radio. But if you want to have, like 30, 40 repeaters, 2 or 3 hotspots at home, plus some simplex, plus add some friends, because you can have direct contact DMR number to DMR number, you're going to need a code plug because there's so much information. So that's where we are with code plug. So what is a code plug? So this is a code plug that's been uploaded for, say, something like the MD380, TYT MD380. So for example, in a code plug, you're going to have loads of channels that you have programmed in. So if we look here at all these different channels, let's just look at one of these channels. Let's go right down to the bottom. We'll try and look at a channel that I put in for my hotspot. So just double click home node. I've got a couple of hotspots in here. So if we have a look here, you can see I've got the frequency of my hotspot. I've called it home node, and we've chosen analog on that one. So it must be like that one's an all-star hotspot. So that's analog. Now if we go to a digital channel, we'll click here. You've got digital and you've got the frequencies there. This is for a repeater. The talk group number is TG123 worldwide. And if you look at the reason I know it's for a repeater is because there's a shift on the frequency. We've got the output and the input. So you've got to pre-program the channel. You've got to find this. Say you go to the talk group, you find out the channel, the color code, the repeater slot, and the contact name of the talk group, which is important. Then once you've got that, you then have to decide, okay, that's the talk group I want to access. Where am I going to access it? So look, we've got the frequencies of the repeater here. That's how I'm going to access it. Hopefully you can reach the repeater. You've got the bandwidth here, and it's a digital repeater. And then you can add that into your, once you've created the channel, once you've created the channel, you have to then put the channel into a zone. Now these are all zones. So let's just say this top one here, GB7WL Amersham, is the zone. You go in, and in that particular zone, there'll be a lot of channels. So you've created lots of channels, and you've put them here, and then you've put them into your zone. So when you turn on the radio, and you go to, say, zone that's called GB7WL Amersham, these channels that you can see in this list will be in that zone. So you create the channels, you put them into a zone, which is basically a group, and then when you turn to that channel and you're near your repeater, you key the mic, and it will choose, it'll go the channel that you've turned 1 to 16 normally, but I think you can have more. You key up, and then you'll access that repeater, or it could be accessing a hotspot. So all you do with your hotspot is add another, you create a channel. So and then let's just find the channel list again. Yes, it's quite an extensive talk group here. Channel information, there's channels. So, and let's just choose one at random. So here's the channel. You create the channel, then you put it into the zone, and that's how you find it on your radio. And each channel, if it's digital, has color codes, repeater slots 1 and 2. There are 2 slots, basically cutting the channel in half. So you understand that. If we look at the Anytone code plug, it's a very similar thing. Here it is here. It's the same nuts and bolts, but yeah, it's made by Anytone, so it looks different. But again, you have loads of channels, and then you have loads of zone. What's inside the zone? So if I go to my hotspot zone here, home hotspot, and look, we've got all the different channels that have been created here, and then we can put them into my hotspot zone. And then when I'm tuning through my hotspot zone, I can click around to the different things. So you know, all these different things that are in that will access that hotspot, and then the frequencies of the frequency of the hotspot. If you look here, let's have a look. Hotspot at the top, Pi-Star hotspot. Look, there's the frequency, simplex frequency of the hotspot. Sorry about the audio not being loud. Of the hotspot. Then you've got the color code, the slot number. It's all here, and you selected digital. The bandwidth is default 12.5K, and so you put that into a zone called hotspot. When you turn on the radio, you'll turn it and you'll find your hotspot, and when you key up, it will open up your hotspot. So hopefully you get the idea. So a code plug is basically all the settings that you need to get onto DMR, really. Now there are radios that have pre-programmed settings for, you know, programming software to load up lots of information on D-Star and Fusion, and people do tend to call them now code plugs, but really it's programming software for those type of devices. Now the other thing you can set in these radios with a code plug, you can, if it's APRS enabled, all the settings for APRS can go in as well. There's some GPS settings here on the Anytone. Let's have a look. You can set the power on settings, so when it boots up, what it's on. Vox, you've got display. You can change the color of display and things like that, and you can decide if you want it to be single band, dual band, audio parameters, record other, loads of different stuff here. Vox, FM. And if you look down here, like you have like a file of all the repeaters in the world and their GPS information. You can get that in there. Now DMR numbers. You have a DMR number. You do need that to use a DMR radio. You need a ham license as well. Well, everyone has a DMR number, and every talk group has a DMR number. So these are all things that you can upload to the radio. So, for example, on here, look, we've got all these digital contacts here. Now, if I try and double-click one section, let's have a look now. I haven't got many in this radio, but there are definitely hundreds, if not thousands, of digital contacts, and each digital contact is basically a DMR number, and that can be a talk group or a person. So so you can upload files of that with all their information. So it'll have their DMR number, it'll have their call sign and their location, and you upload that file with literally 150,000 contacts in it. Add it to your, say, Anytone 878. So when they speak, when they're speaking on that radio, it will all come up on the screen for you, which is quite snazzy. Or you can use a new thing that's been out for a couple of years now, which is Talker Alias, where it's picking out that information from the signal. And this is the good thing about DMR radio and digital radios. They can carry digital information like call sign information, location, etc. And then obviously APR, I'm telling you about APRS and GPS. So it's great fun. It's a great time for the hobby. So that's basically what a code plug is. So I hope that's, sheds a bit of light on it. I won't saying it's excellent, but just me talking ad hoc about it. So 7.3, please subscribe. Catch you later.